Mr. President, thank you so much for having us here at Mar-a-Lago.
Not the president. He's the president.
Okay, if there's one word that could sum up the Biden administration, it would be crisis.
It's a disaster. I've never seen anything like it. And by the way, I got it done. I got the vaccine done. It was all done. Give it to me again. Tell me again. I want to hear it one more time. I got it done. I got the vaccine done. It was all done. People shouldn't be forced to take it. And they do work. I'm very proud of them.
You must have seen this week, this caravan. How do we stop this?
So the wall would have stopped them.
But now.
Okay. You look at the front few lines of the people there. If you look at that front line, they look like they belong in the NFL. In fact, they should be signed, some of them, for the NFL. They burst through tough Mexican police who tried to stop them. We have to stop them. We can stop them, but we have to get very tough. Our country can never be the same. Our country is changed. You can multiply times 7. I don't know if you know that number.
Do you have a plan to go to the border to boost morale there?
Now, I've been to the border many times. I don't think it helps for me at this moment to go. I'm not the president. He's the president. He's got to go to the border. It's a disaster. I've never seen anything like it. And by the way, I got it done. I got the vaccine done. It was all done. Give it to me again. Tell me again. I want to hear it one more time. I got it done. I got the vaccine done. It was all done. People shouldn't be forced to take it. And they do work. I'm very proud of them.
What grade would you give the Biden administration?
I think you have to say an F and not an F plus. It would be an F. It's a failed administration. It's a disaster. I've never seen anything like it. And by the way, I wish he'd do well. You know, I love the country more than I love anything. I would love to see him do well. I think this is the worst in the history of our country. I don't think there's ever been a greater embarrassment as an administration. And we had everything ready to go. We handed it on a plate. That is a terrible thing. This is America today. It's only going to get worse because you have all of these millions of people. Many of them are the worst people, the worst people. Somebody would say, oh, that's not a nice thing to say. It's a disaster. I've never seen anything like it. And by the way, I got it done. I got the vaccine done. It was all done. Give it to me again. Tell me again. I want to hear it one more time. I got it done. I got the vaccine done. It was all done. People shouldn't be forced to take it. And they do work. I'm very proud of them.
Ellis?
And Spike Cohen.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For Do the Right Thing, a Spike Cohen joint. I am Matt Wright, and together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom.
These are getting increasingly both creative and vague. That's fantastic. Do the Right Thing, a Spike Cohen joint. That's one of my favorites in a while. That's up there. That's possibly top 3. Hey, folks, thanks so much for tuning in to the Muddy Waters of Freedom. This, of course, is a Muddy Waters media production. Be sure to like and share and subscribe and comment and reply to other people's comments and retweet people when they will retweet this and then tweet under people's tweets when they tweet about your retweet and like that. Like all these things. Get them to like your things. All the algorithm stuff. Subscribe and like all of our various pages and venues, however you are watching or listening to this. And if it's on YouTube, be sure to hit the bell next to the subscribe button. We want your phone to literally explode with notifications every time we go live. Thank you so much.
Damn right.
Yes.
First, sorry, my dogs sorry to everybody for me running off. The dogs figured out how to use a doorknob, apparently. So I had to go.
Oh, that's scary.
Them out. Yeah. First and foremost, allow me to thank the fantastic and wonderful people at Knock 'em All at Home for the kava I am drinking today.
And allow me to thank the wonderful people at Le Bleu for this delicious. I'm not going to. I get tempted to do it every time with the percentages, but it's just water. It's kosher, made in America. BPA free, just like me. I don't know. I assume I'm BPA free.
That's fair. Sarah actually bought this kava today. Superfan Sarah Andrick, thank you for the comment today.
Oh, is she? Yeah, no, don't be rude. Yeah. Is Spike doing No Shave November? I don't do any of the no Novembers. None of them. Any of the various things that you're not supposed to do because it's the month of November. My life is short and I have MS. I don't know how many Novembers I have. I'm not screwing around with this stuff. I do whatever the hell I want. I don't care. Today's Tuesday. I do whatever I want on Tuesday. I don't even necessarily have tacos on Tuesday. I have whatever I want. If I want to have tacos tomorrow, I don't care about having Taco Wednesday. I'm going to have salmon on Thanksgiving. Nothing matters to me. This episode, of course, is brought to you by the Libertarian Party Waffle House Caucus, the fastest growing and second largest caucus in the Libertarian Party. Join the absolute whirlwind wave of a movement by going to our store, going to muddywatersmedia.com and then pressing the store button. Did we fix the store thing yet?
No.
Oh.
If you go to
Once Kelsey Lyon fixes it, then just go to muddywatersmedia.com and then just press the store button. You can do that today. And, oh man, this is long. There's that. The Gravy King. Joe Solosky. Joe Solosky is running for Pennsylvania governor. Joe is the key to Pennsylvania success. And if you'd like to help him become the first libertarian governor ever, go to joesolosky.com. That's JOESOLOSKY.com. OSKI.com. He's not Jewish. Jack Casey. Is he Jewish? I don't remember. But he did write these 3 books, which makes him more likely to be Jewish. And he's a libertarian who writes books, which makes him, I think he actually is technically Jewish, legally. Being a libertarian who writes a book. I don't know what these books are about, neither do Matt. We're never going to know because we don't want them. If they're bad, I'm going to feel bad trying to get you to buy them every week. And if they're good, then I'm going to feel bad about making fun of them. But, I mean, look at the covers.
Yeah, and Jack Casey's a degenerate, so...
Yeah. Now, for those who, and we'll talk about this in a bit. Actually, I'll wait till the next thing because there's actually an ad, a co-sponsor tie-in here. Our next sponsor, you go to theroyalgreen.com, you can buy all these books, whatever. Thomas Queter is running for state senate. Thomas Queter says, I run better than Albany, and he finds that hilarious because he's confined to a wheelchair and his feet point backwards. And he really enjoys, like, he keeps ramping up what he wants me to say, and I did use ramping up as a pun. As a pun, because he has to. Thomas Queter's a great guy. He's definitely the best choice for state senate in the 52nd district of New York. Honestly, anything that he runs for, I would support him, and he's a fantastic guy. And he can run a lot because he has lithium batteries. I made that one up. But we do have a ad tie-in here because if anyone who donates $100 or more to Tom's campaign by going to tomfor52.com, you can contact Tom and let him know which page of which book they want me to read live on my show, My Fellow Americans. And if you don't have a particular page that you want me to read, let Tom know that, and he'll have Jack Casey pick a page for me to read in its entirety. And I'm told that there are dungeon scenes in at least one of these books. So if you want me to squirm on my own, if you enjoy this segment where I squirm talking about Thomas Queter being a lifelong cripple, then imagine me reading a page from a book that I don't know what it's about, and I'm told that there are some very uncomfortable parts of it. You can do that for the low cost and know that you're helping an incredible libertarian candidate by donating $100. And then Yeah. Defy the power and Stitches and Glitches. Go ahead and ignore that code at the bottom because that's expired. But if you go to defythepower.com and stitchesandglitches.com, you can get some of the best, highest quality tumblers and hybrid tumblers or bongs. And they are incredible, and they come with free customization, which includes LED lights. Like the amount, their stuff is insane. So go, if you want something to drink out of that will blow your freaking gourd, go to stitchesandglitches.com and defythepower.com and do that today. Matt?
So, who put this in the chat? Because I clicked on random links in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What is that?
It is a lawsuit that names the 1953 trust, Harvey Weinstein, Sean Carter. Sean Carter, is that Sean Carter, Jay-Z Sean Carter, or is that a different Sean Carter?
No, because Beyonce Knowles is in it.
Yeah, that's true. Beyonce, yeah, apparently.
Rock Nation.
It says it. Yeah, that's Jay-Z, Sean Carter.
Kanye
it says
West.
the defendants Harvey Weinstein, Sean Carter, Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, he's the 1953 trust. Conspired together and with the other defendants to illegally transact a purchase agreement giving them ownership of Plaintiff 1 while she was a minor child residing in the state of Illinois at approximately age 5 or 6.
What is this? And the person wants $500 million. And this was filed last August.
Last August.
They paid $775 for priority mail.
Is Ghislaine in here? Yeah,
Ghislaine.
Yeah,
no, Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is number 31. Well, this is interesting. One of the the last defendant is Corporation Doe, which would be a corporation that is yet to be named.
Number 3 on the lawsuit says corporate defendants named or identified as does are accused of aiding and abetting in the facilitation of the unlawful surveillance, stalking, and repeated drugging, abducting, hostage taking, and kidnapping for the criminal intent of sexual assault, abuse, extortion, and exploitation in the same capacity as any person named as defendant and in their capacity as corporations providing support to the criminal enterprises of the defendants 1 through 3 as corporate purveyors, facilitators, conspirators, and including by providing money laundering services to route payments to the parties of this. Some Doe defendants are not revealed at the time of the filing to protect or preserve any criminal investigations occurring that may jeopardize or undermine if the plaintiffs reveal certain Doe defendants' identities. So it's in order to not mess with any other criminal
With an ongoing but they're saying there are other people, but they're not publicly naming them because they could end up it could end up messing up a criminal investigation.
Right.
That's certainly something to find out right as we're going live.
So,
yes. So we're going to look more into that when we're not live with a bunch of people talking to us. So thank you for that. So that brings us to the Mushroom Coffee Replacement Cacao Rapid Fire segment brought to you by Mudwater, coffee alternative. If you woke up today and said, gee golly willikers, I'm sick of coffee. I'd like masala chai, cacao, mushrooms, turmeric, sea salt, cinnamon, and literally nothing else. Well, folks, Here's something that's all of those things in one convenient little black tin for the low price of, I don't remember what it costs because it's now auto charged every month.
Right. I think it's $40 for the starter pack, and then it's $20 every month after that.
Yeah, it's like $20 a month or something like that. And this stuff, by golly, is it coffee? It sure isn't. It's an alternative to coffee. What's it taste like? It tastes like masala chai, cacao, mushrooms, turmeric, sea salt, cinnamon, and literally nothing else except what you'd probably want to add to make that taste something like something you'd want to put down your throat. So if you go to, it has 1/7 of the caffeine so that it makes you feel good like this. Today, I'm actually not feeling it today.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it today.
I'm usually
Both
I'm
of
all
us,
like,
right?
hey, but I'm not.
Both of us before the show were sitting here, which is why we were late, because we got into a conversation.
We literally just kvetched to each other for like 10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, I've been in a bad mood all day. He goes, oh, good, it's not just me. And he goes, maybe we've synced. And I said, yeah, we're manstrating.
Yeah, our Mancy's is in sync.
Our Mancy's is synced up.
Synced up.
And we're both manstrating today.
We're both manstrating today. But
yes.
Usually, like how you see me when I'm not manstrating. Just picture that. But it doesn't leave you with that caffeine crash at the end of the day like this. That's what a caffeine crash looks like.
Or how we are.
Like how we look right now, yes.
Right.
Like how we feel today, but not most days, just today. So if you want some of that, go to muddywatersmedia.com/. Actually, you can't do that. You can't do that because
You can go to Muddy Waters of Freedom. You can go to
if you go to muddywatersoffreedom.com/mud, it will work, but not if you do this because our website is also synced with us in our manstration.
That's true.
So we're going to start off with something really fun. As you know, the vaccines are effective and safe, you bigot. And we know that because of the all of the data behind the federal government's approval of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. And Matt, they're actually going to be releasing it pretty soon. Can you, how long will it be before they release that?
So just so everybody knows, when you do a Freedom of Information Act, the average turnaround time is somewhere between 30 and 60 days. This is going to be a little longer. Yeah, a little longer, unfortunately, because, you got to take out certain things, personal addresses, names, phone numbers, things like that. So the FDA officials say it will take 55 years to release that data.
55 years. So that's 2076?
Yeah, 2076.
Wow.
So here is a composite of what Spike and I will look like in 55 years.
So right around, this is gruesome. I'm, that's only like, oh, well, yeah, I guess. That's 84. Wait, what does it say? Why did,
no.
Sarah didn't read the will closely. Why do I have a crucifix on my tombstone? That's funny. Why are we buried together? Where are our wives?
That's why Sarah didn't read the will closely, because we got buried together.
Wow. And so for revenge, Tasha had crosses put on both of our tombstones. She's actually who took this picture.
Right.
She's fine. She's doing great. I don't want to be dead at 84. That seems unreasonable. I think that
you'll be 94.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could be alive at 94.
You could be.
My Uncle Kenny's like 100. I think.
So, well,
So they're saying that due to the 359,000 pages and the amount of redactions they would have to do, it will take 55 years.
55 years. Now, Dr. Monica Gandhi, not that Gandhi, she's an infectious disease physician, says there are people on the fence about getting vaccinated because they don't feel that the vaccines are safe, and I am quite convinced that this is all going to be very reassuring data. But if you wait and you say it's going to take too long, that creates suspicion.
Does it? So
Does it?
Yeah, why? Why? Like, okay, it's 359,000 pages. Okay, great. They submit omnibus bills that are tens of thousands of pages, and they tell Congress that they have seconds to read it before they are, days, minutes, hours, whatever, to read it. But if we want to get, I mean, how much redacting has to be done that couldn't be like auto done where it's like the same thing? Like, yeah, I think they should be able to get this inside of even 55 weeks or days. But yeah,
And
this.
personally,
Go ahead.
Personally, what I think, as a person who is not vaccinated against COVID, going to be very clear, I'm vaccinated against others, not vaccinated against COVID. I shouldn't have to take that vaccine until they release how it got approved.
I don't see any reasonable argument against that. If it is safe and effective, then show it to us. Like
Then
that.
release
Imagine a situation in which a terrible catastrophe is happening, and I tell you that I have something that will help you and save you, and you have to do it. I'm gonna make you do it. And I'm never in your lifetime, or at least not until you're very, very, very old, and I might be apparently dead. Because apparently I'm not going to live, fuck me. I don't get to live in my 90s. But that, incidentally, yeah, I'm never going to tell you that you, I'm not until you're very old, if ever, will you ever know how I can prove that it was safe and the data behind it.
Right.
So before they started saying this, I was largely pro COVID-19 vaccine, but against the mandates, which I still am. I now can no longer say I'm pro COVID-19 vaccine. That's sketchy as hell. There's something they're not telling us.
Now, I will say that a judge in Texas said that they have 108 days, I believe, 108 days to redact what's needed and release it, and they are counter-suing to say that they don't.
Yeah, people have been making jokes and memes about this. There's a reason they're not doing that. That's longer than it took them to tell us about the Area 51 brouhaha, the landings or the attempted the supposed landings or whatever. That's no, we're not there. We don't want to tell you something. They're fighting it in court because they don't want to tell you something.
Right.
And they're hoping that when you bring this up,
Kennedy.
that social media will knock you down for even suggesting it, and that everyone will call you a bigot over and over again because that's apparently relevant. And I say that I was in the last 5 days I've been called a bigot, I think a dozen times on social media for asking various
Only a
questions.
dozen.
What's that?
Only a dozen.
That I know of. And three of them were people that used to call me friend. But anyway, it's a whole other subject. If I'm asking legitimate pointed questions that no one can give an answer to because this stuff is happening, then that's a reason to wonder why that is, not to attack the person that told you that, because it goes against your narrative and your normalcy bias and your deep-seated fear of a disease that isn't going away. And we're going to talk more about that in just a bit. But now on to something much less controversial and unifying, if you will. Kyle Rittenhouse. Matt? Matt? Wait, did I lose Matt? Hello? Oh. Really? Well, while Matt's sitting there stoically reading whatever he's looking at, I'm going to tell you folks about Kyle Rittenhouse. The Rittenhouse trial is over. It's, you know, you lose the flow now because he's not here. I'm just going to look at Matt while I do this. Hey, Matt. How you doing? You know, the Rittenhouse trial is over, Matt. And if you missed it last night, Matt and Jason covered it extensively on Sunday night. Go ahead and actually join the subscribe button to catch it again if you did miss it. Many people have been wondering what will happen to the prosecutors who made such an absolute... Are you back? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I'm back.
Yes. All right. Awesome. Anyway, I was saying the Rittenhouse trial is over, and everyone's now wondering what's going to happen to the prosecutors who made such a mockery of that trial. Most notably, Thomas Binger.
Binger.
Yes.
Thomas Binger. Yeah. And so it appears as though Thomas Binger is shopping a book. And we here at Muddied Waters were lucky enough to get an early copy of this book.
That's good. That's good. Listen, there's one thing I refuse, and that is allowing people to make fun of Thomas Binger on this show. I think it's disgusting. I think it has absolutely no place. And frankly, I think you're a bigot. I think there's something wrong with you that would make you want to make fun of not just one, but possibly even other tragedies as well. How dare you?
Stupid things lawyers do and say.
Yes, I like that. Stupid during the biggest trials. So here's we're going to talk about this next actually, but Kyle Rittenhouse so far has stacked up an incredible body count. He killed a serial child rapist. He killed a violent felon who assaulted him. He killed another he shot and disarmed it, literally. De-armed.
He definitely
reduced the armament of
Yes.
Gage Crooks, who pointed a gun at him. He destroyed the prosecutorial career of Thomas Binger, who is now reeling because he has to be part of prosecuting Crystal Kaiser, the sex trafficking victim who killed her tormentor. And
is he prosecuting that?
That's Kenosha. That's the same prosecution team. So I don't know if he's the lead prosecutor in that, but that's the same team there, bud. And now all of the protesters are like, all right, here's how you're going to make us not be angry. Let this chick go. And she is a great case too. So you're going to get to see him. Everyone's going to hate. So he's destroyed that poor man's career. I shouldn't say poor man. He's the one that decided and actually, I don't think he wasn't the DA, right?
No, he was the ADA.
Okay, so then this poor man destroyed his career. Now he is destroying the very finely crafted conservative and progressive narrative about him on the show where that often happens, Tucker Carlson. Nothing's real.
Nothing is real. This is a simulation. This has to be a simulation.
This is 100% a simulation.
Yeah. So Kyle appeared on Tucker Carlson last night.
Yep.
Last night?
Two nights. Yeah, recently.
Yeah, I think it aired last night, but I read the transcript Sunday night. But he appeared on it, and during the interview, he said, "This case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had the right to. It had to do with the right to self-defense." To which Carlson said, "Right," and stared awkwardly at the camera, and then he said, "I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating." And I don't think anybody in the world saw that coming.
I don't. I don't. And I'm trying to find the quote, but he also said, this could happen to anyone. Imagine if it happened to a black person or a person who had less means and, someone who, didn't get media attention. They would have buried it.
If they were
wow.
If they were able to do this to me, imagine what it would. If they were able to do this to me, imagine what it would have happened if it had been a person like a minority,
a person of color, or a black person, or whatever. Yeah.
And I was just like,
"Yep."
Simulation.
Yep. This is for anyone watching this who still has some lingering, like, well, okay, I was still a prick. Everything you've been told about this kid was wrong. I still maintain I don't think it was a good idea for him to go there, which I've said from the beginning.
I don't think it was a good idea for anybody to go there.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I don't think it was smart for Gage Kirschkirks to go there, and I don't think it was smart for the serial child rapist to be allowed to go there. Because why wasn't he required to be at home or in prison? Or in whichever. And the Anthony Huber guy, I don't think it was smart for him to go there. The jump kick guy who kicked Kyle, I don't think it was smart for him to be there. What's that?
Maurice Friedman. Maurice Friedman.
Yeah, Maurice. I don't think it was smart for him to be there. Really, I don't think it was smart for anyone who was, burning down minority-owned businesses to be there. His mother didn't take him. Someone I believe drove himself, or someone else picked him up. The state lines thing is
he drove himself.
The state lines thing. He's 20 minutes away, and he lifeguards in that county, and his family, his dad's side of the family lives there. That would be like, I live in Myrtle Beach. That would be like me going to Little River, where my dad lives. Like that. It would. And in fact, actually, I think Little River's further away. And if anyone, who crossed county lines, like, it doesn't care. No one cares.
You live close to the border of North Carolina, right?
Yeah, it would be like if I had a loved one in like Calabash, and I went up there, roughly the same distance, about 20-ish minutes up there, and went and helped with something. In fact, he actually tried to surrender to police and couldn't because they had shut down. They had stood down and weren't doing anything to anyone for anything, which is why they
maced him.
They maced him. Although he didn't realize that at the time. He said he didn't realize he had been pepper sprayed or maced or whatever. But so then he had to go back across those state lines that apparently are a big deal to people that say they aren't. He went across the state lines and surrendered to another police department in his state, in the state he resides in. And what was the other one? Illegal gun. It wasn't illegal. Someone under the age of 18 is able to have a rifle or a shotgun.
Is able to carry
a hunting bill, but it doesn't specify you can have it. In fact, that's why he had it. He actually would have preferred to conceal carry a pistol, but he couldn't because that's illegal. And this kid is one of those thin blue line, back the blue types, and he didn't want to break your stupid laws. So he carried a rifle. So yeah, everything you were told was lies. Yeah, you were told lies. Oh, remember when you were originally told that it was black people he killed? No, they're all white. And
all of them.
Like violent people.
We actually, when we showed that video getting demonetized immediately, when we, CNN and MSNBC and, all those guys, they show it and they're still monetized.
No problem,
we do not get monetized.
No.
there have been a few videos that we have shown on here that I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand why
That wasn't one of them.
demonetized.
Yep.
Well, that was not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when we initially showed that video, we went, huh, that was a white guy, that was a white guy, that was a white guy, or at least at least to the eye test, they were all white.
They were white guys.
And it was just,
Yeah.
They were white guys,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, huh, he didn't shoot any black guys. And then everybody was like, oh, he was racist. He was racist. It's like, he only shot white people. He only shot white people.
He only shot white people. And he was defending minority-owned businesses. And he knew they were minority-owned because he met them when he was helping clean up the graffiti from the school. And he went there and talked to them and asked if they'd like help. And they said, sure, yeah, because the police have stood down. Someone come please help us in our minority-owned business. Now, he didn't do it because they were minority-owned, but... I don't know, call me crazy, but if you just spent time cleaning up a school that has a lot of minority kids that go to it, and then you go and help a business that is owned by brown people, and then, in a group of people that has all sorts of, different races in it, the only people you shoot are the ones who pose a threat to your life at some point, either by trying to kill you or by pointing a weapon at you. Maybe you're not a racist. And the two things that they lean on are actually three things, which one came out of nowhere recently. One is that after all of this happened, when he was at home, some Proud Boys found out where he was and took some photos with him. Because that's definitely, if some people come up and say they're supporters of yours and you take some photos with them, that's definitely, I've actually had that used against me. I had some people that turned out, and I haven't even vetted it, that they were bad people. And they came to my event wearing a Jorgensen Cohen shirt, and I took a photo with them, and I think I had a thumbs up, because, again, it's just a support. And I'm told, oh, yeah, look, that person's actually a member of the such and such. And I'm like, well, they took a picture with a Jew who was just talking about open borders. So I'm not sure what to tell you. But anyway, so that was one reason. That doesn't prove anything. The other thing was that there was the one that was the most, I would say, damning or troubling was, he did a video where he was like, yeah, I want to shoot some looters or something like that. 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid says something stupid. Is that what he did? No. What he did wasn't that. He only shot people that were attacking him. And there's all sorts of videos showing that. He actually had some incredible trigger discipline, considering what was happening, people screaming at him, people threatening him. He showed some amazing trigger discipline there. Way more than any of the police that enforce all your laws that you love so much. And your mandates and orders.
So real quick, we've all heard the lies. He went across state lines with a gun, which he didn't. His mom drove him across state lines with a gun. No, she didn't.
No,
he didn't. He had no reason to be in Kenosha. Yes, he did. Everybody he shot was black. One of the ones that I've been hearing recently, I've been hearing this one a lot. He was just looking for trouble, or he was just looking for a fight.
Yep.
That's been like that's the most recent thing, the most recent argument that
it's their fallback. Yeah.
Right. It's right. And I don't think he was just looking for a fight. No. Because there's video of him earlier in the night where he did get pepper sprayed, and he was like saying, we're just here to protect this business. We're here to use lethal force if necessary, but if they're going to come at us with non-lethal, then I'm not going to use lethal against them. And if somebody was looking for a fight or looking for trouble and wanted to actually use the gun, he would have shot the person that sprayed him in the face with pepper spray while he was guarding one of the numerous car sources that make up 90% of Kenosha's economy.
Yeah. It's a car sourced. It actually is. Yeah, that's like that's their main export is cars from car source. Yeah. No, no, I don't know. No, it's so the big thing
like
they've been leaning on is that there's a video that was shown across the street from a CVS pharmacy. Hooded people were seen rushing out and clutching items. People had been watching these looters destroying their towns and robbing people left and right. And Oh, wow. A voice that sounds like Rittenhouse's. So they don't even know for certain that it was him saying it, but let's say he said it. It says, bro, I wish I had my effing AR. I'd start shooting rounds at them. Okay. He's a kid. He said that. He's angry. That's not what he actually did. So if you make a video saying all that edgy shit that you like to say and joking and so forth, and then 2, 3, however many weeks later, you end up defending yourself against someone, legitimately defending yourself against someone. Would you want the fact that you said something, allegedly, again, we don't know if it was him, but said something weeks prior, have anything to do with it? The only way that it would come into play is if they could have argued that the people there who were going after Kyle had a reason to know that he had said that. Which, of course, they didn't. This is like something they found on someone's phone.
Yeah.
Oh, and then a recent one is, oh, look at this video of him beating up a girl that apparently was bullying his sister or something like that. Oh, better put him in prison for the rest of his life for murder, even though there's video that he was defending himself. As soon as they started going to all that stuff, it told me that they didn't have a case. They were emotionally invested in this kid suffering because they had been told to hate him by the corporate media that divide you against anyone you might have a common cause with, because they don't want you to talk about the giant swindle that they're doing to you every single day. Like, for example, robbing you to pay for the enforcement of making you take something that you might not want to take that's so safe that they won't show you the proof of that for your entire life. For example. So, speaking of incredible attorneys, it is now time. It is now time. Thank you. He knows what's coming. It's now time for the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, Anchor Call-In moment, where you can go to anchor.fm/muddiedwaters and you can leave us messages that we will play here during the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, Anchor Call-In moment. But if you go to anchor.fm/muddiedwaters/subscribe, you can become an official member of the you can become a subscriber to Muddy Waters Media. We're still working on the name. I just keep adding mud words to it. The Mud People. Come join the Mud People. The Muddied Mud People. And for only $10 a month, actually $9.99 a month, you get access to ad-free podcast episodes, of all the episodes ad-free on Anchor and Spotify. You also will soon get ad-free video episodes on Spotify. Woo-hoo-hoo there. You get exclusive members-only, subscriber-only content every week or so. And then every month, and we just did it last week, every month we get together and do a big Zoom call and live stream it for all those jealous normies to watch us have way more fun than them for the Muddied Zoom. Join the Muddied Zoom by becoming a subscriber, and you get to hang out with me and Matt and Jason Lyon and Nulik Trupp and Cajun and, I already said the Eskimo. Noel Olinde. How can I not remember? He trolls me every time. I think it's Olin. You can hang out with all of us live. And Sarah was there too, looking extremely bemused the whole time and not impressed at all. But we still had a great time. And for only $10 a month, you can become a member. Pull it up. Here is our first.
Oh wait! Before you do that, I forgot. I have to find it. From Mudsketeer himself, Tom Kaler. He sent us an email.
Oh, okay, cool.
I remember being promised free breadsticks for everyone if we got the most electrifying libertarian presidential candidate since Bob Barr and Spike elected.
Mm-hmm.
That is what spurred my suspicion when I saw a Domino's ad for $50 million in surprise freeze. There are some other very large franchises offering similar deals. Do you think that these are resulting from conditional government bailouts, or am I crazy bread? Or did they just steal your idea?
They stole my idea. Those sons of bitches.
I think they just stole your.
They just stole my idea. Big Cheesy Bread stole my idea.
Olind is pronounced Olind.
Olind. I thought it was. But I keep wanting to add the Olinde. Even though he's not, like, that's like a French name. That's the Olinda.
It's like
it's like maybe even if you're not supposed to pronounce the E, but if you're kind of swarthy, you kind of put it at the end there anyway, like, oh, my name is Noel Olinda. Like it's Olinda. Like it's Olinda. Like it's just you're not really
He's in my
not
phone
saying
is Noel
Olinda.
Cajun.
It's just Olinda. Like you just every sentence you end with a little at the end there. How are you doing?
With a very breathy.
Yeah.
With a very breathy.
Like a very breathy.
Olinda.
My name is Noel Olinda. So the first question comes from Rob Palkovich. Oh, hold on. This damn thing, son of a bitch. What is happening? See if that fixes it.
Sort of on the Iron Range.
There we go. All right, let's do that over again.
Hey guys, this is Rob Polkovich up in northern Minnesota on the Iron Range. Just had a few questions about what you think about the mining situation going on here, as far as Biden signing that bill to block any kind of mining projects and federal land and stuff in the BWCA and whatnot. And it's just to tell you guys, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Well,
Rob.
First of all,
thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yes.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So if I am correct on what Rob is referring to, if I'm correct on what Rob Palkovicha is referring to, I think that back in we're going to make up a date here, but like 2015, 2014, Obama put a he put a cease to all the mining contracts.
Yeah, I think it was 24. Hold on. I think it was around then. It was towards the end of his presidency.
Right, and then toward the end of the 24-month or 26-month moratorium on it, Trump overturned it and said, no, you can start mining again.
Yep.
I think Biden just reinstated this, if I am correct. I'm not. Okay, Rob is saying yes. Okay, that's the one.
So it actually, go ahead, because it's actually not fully Biden's fault, but he's not helping. But
right. I mean, it's his administration, so
Well, no. So it's actually a judge. Oh no, this was in the West. Hold on. So a judge actually threw out one of Trump's mining bans, or Trump's lifting of a mining ban, because they said it was arbitrary. That was one of the most incredible things of the Trump administration, was that Trump would undo an executive order, which he has every authority to do. It's an executive order. You can, introduce it with a pen and a phone, and you can remove it with a pen and a phone. And the courts would say, no, that's arbitrary. You're doing it just for that. And it was like, yeah, because it's an executive order. That was a very interesting thing, which the libertarian answer would be like, okay, all of them get repealed then. Start from scratch. No executive order.
Because they're all arbitrary.
Yeah, because they're all... I don't want to be arbitrary about it. I'm just going to end them all. So,
right.
Yes. So, yeah,
I know-
he.
I think it
So
went back
this
into-
is Trump. This is Obama. Trump or Biden. Trump lifted the ban, and then Biden decided to reintroduce it.
To reintroduce it, yeah. And
Yep.
if I remember correctly, I think it's copper that
Yep.
they're mining up
Yep.
in that. Okay. Yeah. So if he actually wanted to make a jump forward, technologically, economically, this would not be something he would be doing. Getting copper, having access to copper is massively important in today's digital and technological age. And by appeasing the progressives who are like, this is bad for the environment, and I'm not here to speak on whether or not it is or isn't, because I don't know. But to say that, we need to stop this shows that you are putting the progressives' opinions on whether or not mining is bad for the environment over the good that copper can do. Copper nickel. Thank you, Rob. I didn't like it when they ceased oil drilling contracts, and now they've released 50 million barrels, which will last us a day.
It's just so it's our average daily usage is around of oil is around, the average is 19 million barrels a day, but it actually, I believe, goes up during this time. So it's probably, but let's just round it up to 20 because it was like 19.8. So let's say 20. So it's 2.5 days. And of course, they don't release it all at once. They're going to slowly release it over time. It will be a drop in the bucket. You won't even notice it. And more importantly, by signaling that that's all he's going to do, he let the markets know, I'm not going to address the problems with supply. I'm not going to address the inflationary spending that's driving up the cost of everything. I'm not going to get rid of or even suspend the federal gas tax, nor am I going to encourage states to do so. I'm just going to let it go and a little bit of oil in there and hope that and pretend that does something to appease my base. And the markets have responded by oil prices shooting through the roof again.
And okay, so a quick update. As Rob said that it was copper nickel where Rob is. Amos Joseph, who is in Minnesota's Iron Range, they mine taconite. That's what I'm going with. Taconite,
Okay.
which refines into steel, and that's another thing that is on the mining ban up in that area.
Yeah, no, this is what our stuff is made out of.
Right. Yes. It is every president, everybody that runs for president talks about bringing jobs back to the country, talks about not outsourcing. We're going to make the American economy, if it's Trump, great again. If it's Biden, he's going to build it back better.
Which is literally the exact same thing.
Completely different sentence. But when they do these bans, when they do ban on oil drilling, or when they do bans on fracking or natural gas production, or they do bans on these mining, they are literally outsourcing it to other countries to do in order for us to get. And then they will put tariffs on it as it's coming in, and the other country will put tariffs on it as it's coming in, and it just drives up the price for all the consumers.
Yep.
So, Rob, I think that we've answered your question, and we don't like it.
Yeah, we don't like it. Also, when they do the mining in other countries, they use like children and, slaves and extracted in the worst possible way, and human rights abuses in addition to environmental abuse. And because we're talking about climate change, it doesn't matter where it happens. The whole argument is that climate change is global. So it doesn't matter if it happened over here, over here, over here, over here. The air pollution part and the water pollution part definitely factors in, but the climate change part, which is the part they're scaring us with, the scary climate change is going to kill us all, make things so much hotter that we're going to definitely die. They're going to do it in places where there are fewer environmental standards, which means it's going to contribute even more greenhouse gases and use child slaves probably in the process. But it won't be in
Jacob
your backyard.
Helzer has an interesting question. He says, how many of these bans are to conserve resources for war with China? Now, I don't see war with China happening, but let me tell you why I don't think this is right either. If you do these things in order to conserve resources in case we get into war with China, then you will have to go and do it whenever war starts, which will take time. Yeah. So it wouldn't make sense for him to go, let's stop this, let's stop mining and let's stop drilling and let's stop natural gas production because we might need those resources if war happens. No, because it will take so much time to get it out and to refine it and to do all the stuff. You wouldn't have time. So
and you need a workforce that's trained to do it. We just saw this with the, everyone's like, why is the labor shortage happening? Because you literally furloughed a bunch of people. Now imagine if you just completely destroyed that industry and then one day you went, oh, we need it, we're going to war with China. You now have to create the industry. You have to literally create not just the facilities, but the people who can build them, the people who can maintain them, the people who can extract from them, the people who can distill it, the people who can distribute it. Every step of that, you're having to basically create an entire industry from almost nothing, not to mention all the supply chain problems we already have. So no, by doing this, you actually set back war readiness with China for a decade or more. But also, we're not going to a conventional war with China. We're in a increasingly lukewarm Cold War with China, because the Cold War never ended. It just shifted to China instead of Russia. And you're also you're in a trade war, which we shouldn't be. That's stupid. It hurts. The wealthiest country always gets hurt by the trade war wars. You get into what else? You get into we're in a technological war. There's a war over cultural, media stuff and things like that. What Disney is allowed to say, what the NBA is allowed to say, that kind of stuff. If we were going to get into an actual hot kinetic war, it's going to be nuclear. It's not going to be, oh, the Chinese invaded today. Why would they invade? We'd kill them. 1 million Chinese people are going to cross the Pacific, work their way through the military, through the Navy and Air Force, and then come here and deal with tens of millions of gun owners who actually would fight against them, because they're not going to do it against the police or military here. But what an actual people they would fight against? No, we're not going to war with China. We're either going into a hot nuke war that lasts a matter of hours, or we're just going to do this Cold War stuff forever. That's what's going to happen. Oh, while we're trading trillions of dollars with each other. So that's the kind of war we're going to be in with China.
And Rob, to answer your last question, have whoever is planning your convention get in touch with Brian Lambrecht. And
yes.
Depending on when your convention is, we would be happy to come.
Is that the Minnesota convention?
I'm assuming.
I believe that we're already in talks on that. So, but he can certainly reach out. Next question is from T. Marie.
Good evening and happy Thanksgiving and holidays to all of the Muddied Buddies, Muddied Water Media fans. This is T. Marie Liberty. I do have a question. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, Mr. Cranfief, Uncle Cranfief, if that's what we're going to call you. I think I'm supposed to be leaving a message for some reason, and I can't remember why. But thank you for bringing Muddied Waters Media into my life and into my family's life. I hope you guys enjoy your Jewish Thanksgiving. I don't know if Jewish people do it differently. But thank you, Spike, as well, and Tasha, and thank you, everybody from the Muddied Waters Media family, and happy Thanksgiving.
Jewish. So yes, our Jewish Thanksgiving tradition is I'm going to hang out with some friends of ours, and they're going to have turkey and pernil because they're Puerto Rican, and whatever, I guess mofongo. I don't know. I think they're doing stuffing, but it's going to be definitely a Caribbean Latino flavored Thanksgiving, and I'm bringing salmon because I'm Jewish and on a restrictive diet. That's what we do. Matt, what's your Jewish Thanksgiving going to be like?
So my Jewish Thanksgiving is we're going to Georgia to see Superfan Sarah Anderegg's family up there.
Oh,
and
cool.
I think it's going to be pretty traditional, but since it's going to be a Jewish Thanksgiving, I think there's more guilt.
That's everything.
Right.
We don't wait for the
that's
holidays
just,
to be guilty.
right. It's a traditional Thanksgiving with the same amount of guilt that the Jewish people seem to live with every day.
It's a traditional day as a Jew. I got a letter in the mail. I was on Eric Brakey, the senator from Maine. He has a show. He's now the something director for YAL, Young Americans for Liberty. And I was his one of his first guests on his show. What's that?
Eric Brakey?
Eric Brakey, yeah. And so I was on his show, and he sent me a handwritten letter thanking me for being on his show. And as soon as I look at it, I immediately start feeling guilty. I should have sent him something. I never send thank you letters to my guests. This thing's been in here since November 3rd. I'm not checking my mail enough. Like, I literally just am like, everything I'm doing, I should feel good. This man, what a great, cool, show of goodwill. This guy was so happy to have me on his show that he writes me a letter. What a class act. And I'm like melting. Like, I am a piece of garbage. Everything I'm doing is wrong. Everyone hates me. I now have to write like 50 some odd, 100. How many guests have I had? 100 and some odd guests on my show. I got to write them all letters now. Now all the guests moving forward. Do I even want to do this show anymore? I'm already not even having time to check my mail. Now I'm going to have to write letters all the time. That's going to make it even harder to check my mail. Yeah, maybe I'll just not do it anymore. That was the thought process I had. Here's the next question.
Oh, so just real quick. That reminds me. On Saturday, December 4th, we're having a Hanukkah event at the house, and I want to invite you.
Okay, December 4th?
There's going to be a lot. Yeah, there's going to be a latke bar, and we're going to have sufganyo and matzo ball soup and brisket, but I'll throw some salmon in the oven for you.
I was going to say I can almost guarantee you I can't have the matzo ball soup. There is a gluten-free way to make it, but why bother? If you don't
why
have
would
to
you?
do that. Well, yeah, why would you? But latkes. Latkes.
It's going to be a latke bar. A latke bar.
Just different types of latke.
Right. Well, with multiple toppings for
I
you
can't
to
do
choose
this.
from.
I need to take this call from James Ray.
Hey there, Spike and guy on left. This is James M. Ray calling in for Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, anchor call-in moment. I'm calling to request a team effort that would be really great. I call it Free Ross Thanksgiving. Just for those 4 days from the 24th to the 28th, I want everybody on Twitter that knows me, if they're willing, if they're not, so what, to change their middle name to #FreeRoss, just for those 4 days. And I'm hoping that it makes the president yield on this issue and pardon Ross and let him out by Christmas to be with Lynn and all of us. That's what I want. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a noble thing, and I think that Ross definitely deserves to be home. I think one of the things that strikes me is, here's probably one of the biggest tech geniuses we have on earth, and he should be thriving as a billionaire right now, who's giving us all the free market solutions we need using, all the newest technology, and instead they've got him in a cage because he didn't want to play their game. Here's we got 3 in a row from Stephen Witt, who Matt, you got to meet him the weekend before last. Go.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Steve Witt calling in on the Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, anchor call-in moment. And since this is the Thanksgiving week episode, I wanted to say that I am thankful for my beautiful daughter, Kimberly, as well as my parents, Wilbur and Kimberly Witt, and my friends and the rest of my extended family, and for being able to meet you guys at the South Carolina Libertarian Party Convention. That was great meeting you guys, and wanted to say thank you for this show. Been following you guys now for about a year now, and very thankful for the content that Muddied Waters puts out on a daily basis and weekly basis with the various shows that you have on your network. Thank you very much, guys.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you.
And it was great getting to see you again. I've met you before, but none of the other folks, Muddy Waters folks,
it was
had.
great.
So.
It was great meeting you. It was great meeting you in the South Carolina. I'll have to throw props out to Kelsey Lyon yet again because she put on a fan-damn-tastic event, and that it was a great event. It was a lot of fun, and it was great getting a chance to see people that I haven't met in person, and that watch the show and that I talk to online constantly. So it was a great event, and you were one of the people I got to meet, and I'm very grateful that we had a chance to do so.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh yeah, and thanks for letting us change in your room. Steve let us use his room to change for the gala.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Yeah. We went to his hotel room and changed in there.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so he's sent 2 more, so here's the next one from him.
Hey guys, Steve Witt again calling in on the Chris Reynolds Attorney at Law Anchor call-in moment. And this is just a complaint talking about regulations and bootstrap laws, essentially. So as most of you guys know, I'm a truck driver, and I recently applied to a new company. And in order to apply to that new company, I had to go through a company known as HireRight. And they are the ones that generate what's called a DAC report that goes out to multiple companies that use them for their hiring purposes, as well as it ties in with the FMCSA. And just a little discouraged today. I was hired by the new company that I'm trying to get on with. However, because I'm looking to get hired on to this new company after Christmas, I have to completely reapply again within the next 2 weeks in order to try to get on after January 1st. It's very frustrating.
Gosh, I think this is more for that.
And to extrapolate off of that last message, in order for me to get hired on, like I said, I've got to apply again in 2 weeks because the application times out after 30 days. And it's just ridiculous because you basically have to jump through hoops in order to make sure that your DAC report is complete in order for the next company you try to get on with so that they don't have any missing information. And if the current company you're with hasn't updated it, you're basically SOL. So just thought that I would throw that out there if nobody knows about that. Thanks, guys.
Well, I'm sorry you're having to go through that, but I'm glad you were able to share it with people. This is what having to comply with a bunch of ever-changing, ever-increasing state and federal DOT diktat looks like. It looks like someone who's just trying to work, moving stuff around that we all need, being treated like some kind of, criminal who's trying to get over on the government.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's federal regulations suck.
And I'll tell you, when it comes to DOT
today,
stuff,
Steve.
yeah, I'm sorry, man. With the and on when it comes to DOT stuff, the states suck too. I have a friend who used to do boat moving. He would move boats from up and down the eastern seaboard, usually from places in New England and New York, and sometimes northern Virginia, like the DC area, and then bring them down to South Florida, the Keys, your area, Tampa Bay, for people who wanted to have their boats there and not have to go up and down not have to actually pilot their boats up and down either the ocean or the intercoastal. And so he would move boats, and he did good. He made a decent living doing it. He didn't become rich on it, but he made a decent living. And the federal and state governments and DOTs and a lot of what he had to go through was at the state level, and it was just 2 or 3 states that you physically have to drive through, made it increasingly cost prohibitive until eventually he couldn't, as an owner operator, do it anymore, and he ended up having to sell his trucks and everything because you couldn't make money doing it. And so you had two different groups that were able to make money. One were the big companies that could afford the cost of compliance. Anyone who watches this show has heard that story over and over again. Big corporations that can afford the cost of compliance, and illegal actors that just, they show up and move your boat on a souped up pickup truck. Didn't bother stopping at any of the way stations. Honestly, wasn't even that safe the way they were doing it. They could probably get away with doing it, but God forbid there's any kind of accident or something they have to brake for. They're not going to have control of the thing, and all sorts of unsafe issues with unloading and everything else. But they could present a reasonable price for people to be able to do it. So for someone trying to do it the legit way on an actual commercial vehicle, they just couldn't, and that destroyed this person's business. And it had been getting worse and worse. The final death blow was during the Obama administration. I forget exactly what they were, and it was some of the states doing it in concert with the federal department. And then when Trump got in, he was kind of hoping that might be some of the deregulation that happened. Didn't. And now with Biden, and there's no reason to expect that'll change. So I want to say this is we're kind of ending on good news, right? Ish?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. A lot of this is still up in the air on what will end up happening. Like these laws have been passed, but as we all know, back in, we'll say October, back in October, was that October that Biden, or was that September? We all know about Biden, the vaccine man.
Oh, no, that was September. Yeah, that was September.
Was it? Okay, September. Like September 8th-ish.
Gosh, now I'm questioning hold on. Biden vaccine mandate.
This part's not in the notes, as you can tell, because I was thinking it was like October 8th, but then I was like, wait, that doesn't seem right. But then again, that might be right.
No, September 9th. Yeah.
September 9th. Okay. So on September 9th, Biden announced the vaccine. Yep. Biden announced the vaccine mandate. And a lot of states said that they were going to sue. Texas passed some laws to try to counteract that. And we know that the Fifth Circuit recently put a stay on it. And OSHA has backed off for the time being, but is currently being fought in the Sixth Circuit. And that covers like Tennessee. I think that's in Ohio. And I believe, if I remember correctly, 20 justices appointed by Trump and Reagan are there, and then 6 from Obama and Clinton. So
none from Bush. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah, I think I could be wrong on that because I'm doing that from memory. And I was reading that just like in passing the other day. But Governor Ron DeSantis here in Florida insists that he isn't running for president in 2024. But instead he's just working on the rights of Floridians so he can win re-election in 22.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's lying. I actually tend to believe him. I think he's planning 28, but I think he's planning to run 28. I honestly do, but it seems like he's lying with a lot of the stuff he does.
I think he's lying. I think he's setting himself up for 24 or 28. I also think what is interesting is that he could end up, if Trump goes in, Trump might push him for his VP, which inside of the Republican Party, very rarely do failed VP candidates end up running for president successfully, meaning failed as in like they didn't win the election. They usually don't then go on to be able to win the primary to get nominated, historically anyway, and similar for the Democrats as well. So he might be staying out of it and just building up his credentials in Florida until he can run in 28.
Right. That's kind of what I think he thinks Trump is going to run in 24 and he doesn't
Yep.
want to run against Trump. And
Right.
if he's tapped for VP, I think that he will say, no, I want to stay as governor just so he can run in
Dodge that
28.
bullet. Yeah.
Right. But on Thursday last week, he pulled the most epic troll job of any governor possibly ever when he held a press conference and signed new legislation in Brandon, Florida, which is like 20 minutes that.
That's funny.
But he signed some bills in Brandon, Florida, that were passed in the special session of the Florida legislature aimed particularly at vaccine mandates. Now, he didn't outright ban vaccine mandates, which a lot of people are saying he banned vaccine mandates. He didn't. Much like the vaccine mandate that Biden passed isn't a vaccine mandate, because he is saying you have the option. You can choose to get tested every week. And if you get tested every week, you have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask while indoors at all times. And after a certain time period, you may have to get tested twice a week. And the employer doesn't have to pay for it. He did the same thing. He said you can have a vaccine mandate, but you must give workers the option of opting out of the vaccine mandate under these reasons. One, medical. And it says an employer must allow an employee to opt out for medical reasons, including for pregnancy or anticipated pregnancy. Additionally, the law specifically does not require a disability or a handicap, the term the Florida Civil Rights Act uses as a synonym for the ADA's disability definition, but notes only an employer must allow an accommodation for a medical reason. To claim an exemption based on medical reason, the employee must present to the employer an exemption statement dated and signed by a doctor, physician assistant, or advanced practice registered nurse certifying in their professional opinion that COVID-19 vaccine may not be good for the person, which that wasn't in the OSHA mandate. They did not care. If you
Think about that for a second. If your doctors are telling you, because we follow the science, if your doctors are telling you you shouldn't get this, Joe Biden says I don't care, or OSHA says I don't care. I don't care. Get it or lose your job, bigot.
Religious reasons. Employees can claim exemption based on religious reasons, unlike a request for accommodation under Title VII, because sincerely held religious belief conflicts with the policies of the employer. This Florida law directs employers to exempt an employee who presents a statement indicating that the employee declines COVID-19 vaccination because of a sincerely held religious belief. Note, this says that the employee presents a statement saying that the employee has a sincerely held religious belief. It's not a letter from your rabbi or a letter from your priest or a letter from your minister, pastor, imam. It's a letter from the employee saying, I have a sincerely held religious belief.
Because it's their religious belief.
Because it's their
not that of their
belief.
pastor.
Right. Oh. COVID-19 immunity.
Mm-hmm.
The employer must allow an exemption if the employee presents a statement demonstrating competent medical evidence that the employee has immunity to COVID-19 documented by the result of a valid laboratory test performed on the employee. The Florida Department of Health is directed to adopt a standard for such demonstrations. Now, right now, if you got COVID in February of 2020 and you have that paperwork, you can bring it in and say, I've had COVID. I'm not getting the vaccine. That could change after the Florida Department of Health
they might require but you know what? It's going to be tough, man, because as most immunologists who aren't compromised can tell you, is that once your antibodies are gone for something, that doesn't mean you're not immune anymore. You now have a passive resistance to it sometimes. So now your B and T cells could have taken over from the antibodies. So it might be antibodies and or having had COVID within the last 6 months or a year or something like that. But you could also just tell them, I have a deeply held religious belief.
I do. I have a very strong religious belief. Periodic testing.
I'm religiously against this.
I am religiously against mandates. While OSHA's emergency ETS allows an employer to provide an option to its employees for testing as an alternative to vaccination, the Florida requires employers to allow an employee to test as an opt-out, meaning I will take the test, but I'm never going to take the vaccine. To claim this exemption, the employee's exemption statement must indicate the employee agrees to comply with regular testing for the presence of COVID-19 at no cost to the employee. So the employer has to shoulder all of the testing costs.
Yeah, that's one that I have a problem with, because if I, the employer, don't want to have to pay that, I can't direct my employees to claim a religious exemption. Like, let's say I'm a business that doesn't want to do vaccine mandates or anything else, okay? And then the federal government says you have to, and let's say it gets upheld. But then my state says you can't, you have to give all these things too. And while they're duking it out, I'm making sure to comply so I don't lose my business, because while they figure it out, I can still lose everything. And so now they're telling me, yeah, well, screw you, you got to pay $150 a week per employee to take these tests. Or even $50 a week per employee. It adds up quickly. And if I try to tell employees, hey, listen, just, send me a letter saying that you have a religious reason, I could get in trouble with the Department of Health if that comes out. If an employee gets upset that I said that, now I get in trouble because I was trying to save money and actually be able to afford to continue doing business. That part I don't like. If you're, I would much rather this say something along the lines of, well, here's the thing. Is this at the cost of the employer or of the state? Because if the state is mandating that I have to require this, okay, fine, you pay for it then. But if they're mandating that I have to pay for it, that I have a problem with.
Right, and I don't know.
It doesn't say it just says at no cost to the employee. Yeah.
At no cost to the employee, which that was one of the things when the Biden mandate was coming through. I was like, okay, so if I get tested every week, do I have to wear a mask? And they were like, yeah, you're going to have to wear a mask still. And I was like, but I'm going to come in showing you a negative result. Why do I have to wear a mask? He said, well, somebody else can give it to you. And I'm like, then why don't they have to wear a mask?
Then why don't they have to wear a mask? And then doesn't that disprove the whole need for the vaccine, you bunch of bigots? I'm going to call them bigots now. Although I was recently told, I forget who said it, but if someone calls you a bigot, just call them a pedophile. Like, just throw it back at them. Anyway, right. And, you throw enough stones, you might hit some hollering dogs occasionally. But anyway, if, especially in certain circles. Anyway, but enough about that. Oh gosh, where are we on this? Oh yeah, so honestly, if Joe Biden had said we're going to require all businesses to test their employees, once a week or twice a month or something like that, I would have still been against it. But I would have at least been able to say, I get what they're trying to do. Like, they want to make sure that, that people don't have COVID. Like, because that's what the test does. It says if you have COVID or not. And they go, well, no, because those tests, it's like a 10, 15% rate of false negatives. That's lower than the rate of people who are vaccinated can still get and spread COVID and get seriously ill. Why are we doing this? This is stupid.
It makes no sense. It's so
and
stupid.
It's, well, vaccines are so important that if you get your vaccine, then you don't have to wear a mask. But Matt, you're not vaccinated, so you have to wear a mask because someone who has COVID could give you COVID, or someone who's vaccinated could give you COVID. So then why don't they have to wear a mask? If it's about protecting others, it's not. It's about rewarding compliance, and possibly even more importantly, you'll notice the shift. They're talking less and less about the disease because fear of the disease is baked into the cake at this point with some people. They're convinced that, 40, 50% of the people that get this are going to drop dead. They have these ridiculous thoughts in their head of what this thing is because they don't go outside unless they absolutely have to. So they're not seeing what the world's actually like. And an increasing number of people are looking at the disease and going, this is a few times more deadly than the flu and it seems serious, but why are we having to do all this? So what they're doing now is they're stigmatizing the people. They want you to be more scared of people that aren't vaccinated than you are against the virus. And I've literally heard people say that. I'm more scared of the unvaccinated than I am of COVID because COVID's just one disease. These people can be plague rats for every disease. They're already conditioning you to hate people for making medical choices that don't affect you because you can still get it and spread it.
Yep.
Use of employer-provided PPE. That's one of the
if it is. If you decide that you don't want to take the vaccine, you can say, I don't want to take the vaccine, and you have to present an exemption statement indicating the employee agrees to comply with an employer's reasonable written requirement to use employer-provided personal protective equipment, meaning they have to supply the masks while you're in their building.
Most of them are anyway, honestly. Like, I went to a doctor's appointment recently, and I forgot my mask because I so rarely wear it. And they were like, oh, no problem, they're over there. Like, masks, especially now that they've kind of ramped up production, like, that's far less of a burden. And again, I don't think that government should be able to mandate any of this stuff, but in terms of actual like damage and burden, this is relatively low, like on the scale of things.
Yeah.
What
I want to point out is that there are people on the left who don't like DeSantis and think that, they call him Death Santis and all that. They are saying that this violates the First Amendment, but the OSHA mandate was fine.
Statists don't give a damn about the First Amendment or any other amendment. They throw out the Constitution whenever it conveniences them. And this includes Republican. I'm not just saying the left is all statists. We see this all the time. That's unconstitutional. You don't give a shit about the Constitution.
Right. That, in all fairness, I didn't look too hard. The tweets I saw were from the left.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure for something like this, absolutely. Yeah. This violates my civil rights. Oh, you mean like the fact that in Northern Territory of Australia, where most of the Aboriginal and Torres Island Strait indigenous peoples live, because they have a slightly lower rate of vaccination. So like for most other Australians, it's near 90%, and for their population, it's like 70%. By government mandate, Aboriginal people are not allowed in public spaces. Systemic racism is the concept of laws and regulations that are baked into governments and societies and companies, organizations, that even if unintentionally, so wildly disproportionately harm someone based on their race, for example, or their ethnicity, that it has a racist effect, even if that wasn't the intention. That is literally what these are. So all the people who were screaming last year about systemic racism suddenly don't care about systemic racism. You know why you haven't heard about Black Lives Matter recently, except in the past? Because they're currently protesting vaccine mandates. Did you know that? Did you know that almost all of their prior to the Kyle Rittenhouse decision, did you know that most of the still active on the streets, BLM organizations were primarily protesting against vaccine mandates and passports? No, because the media didn't tell you that, because they're not a useful bludgeon against you anymore. Because now they can't tell you, oh, I can't believe you believe that, you bigot. Did you know that black people disagree with you? Because now they agree with you. So this also it prevents any school official, school board member, or elected official from imposing either a vaccine or mask requirement on any students for school attendance or extracurricular activities, although it does say a parent at the parent's sole discretion may allow his or her child to wear a mask or a shield. That makes sense. There are people that incorrectly compare this to mandates on private companies. Schools that receive government funding, public schools, charter schools, and so forth, absolutely have no business mandating this stuff for your kids. If they are public, that's supposed to mean they're open to the public they're supposed to serve. They cannot impose these kinds of things. And if they do, then they shouldn't be receiving taxpayer money. If they want as a private organization to set these standards, fine. No taxpayer money for you. Demonstrate value to your clients or get nothing.
Yep. Toward the end of the bill, it states that the governor's office is going to be developing a proposal for a state plan to assert jurisdiction over occupational safety and the health issues for government and private employees. This means that Florida just passed a bill to leave OSHA if their plan is approved. Can you guess who has to approve that plan?
Oh.
Yeah. According to federal websites like OSHA.gov, in order to leave OSHA, OSHA has to approve your state OSHA plan, and it has to be at least on par with the federal OSHA. So where's the benefit? In order to get the state OSHA approved, like, so the places that
you have to just say that you're going to do what they would do.
Cal OSHA is separate from OSHA, but that's because they wanted to put in so many other restrictions. Right. That OSHA was like, we're not going to put those in federally. But you have to have it at least on par with what federal OSHA is doing. So if they wanted to start FLOSHA, which I'm assuming that's what they're going to call it, FLOSHA.
FLOSHA.
FLOSHA. Flo Rida is going to be in the video.
That's like we're oh wow, and you can do your first rap album. Rap album. By Matt. We're right. I'll do a Giraffe cameo.
Right, you'll do a Giraffe cameo on my Rap album.
Whap.
This is on par. Like if you were a member of the mob and you said, "Hey, I'm gonna leave and start my own mob," and then the original mob was like, "Okay, we have to approve your new mob bylaws, and you can only hire mobsters that we would approve of you hiring, and you have to be just as mob-like as we are."
Yes, but you can run the day-to-day operations, right?
Right, you can run the day-to-day operations. Oh, and like there's like so many. Like OSHA will come in like twice a year to make sure that you are doing everything up to OSHA's standard. So where is the benefit of leaving OSHA? My fear is that that Florida does this, and then eventually, I don't see it happening in 22, but eventually, Democrats will take control of other areas, or Republicans will be like, "Hey, now that we can do this, we can add in all this other stuff that we want to add in," and it will just get inundated with extra stuff. So where is the benefit of leaving OSHA?
For the state government, the benefit is they get to turn this into another one of their slush funds / whip, sticks that they use on anyone that's getting out of line. For us as individuals, not much. Now, so you're saying not only do they have to approve the plan, but then they still do ongoing compliance to make sure your deal is at least as strict as theirs?
Yeah.
So it's not even like they could introduce something and then start scaling it back?
Right. That's according to OSHA's website. Now, I don't know if there is a way around it or if there is I don't know.
Oh, so he might be pulling a 10th Amendment thing.
And yeah, I saw Brian's comment, and it could be he's pulling a 10th Amendment. Because these are not right.
Oh, Brian said 10th Amendment right after I said, yeah. So it's great minds there, Brian. So this is...
He actually said it right before you did.
Okay, well, great. Still great minds because I wasn't reading the comments, but his mind's slightly greater than mine. He might be saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to assert jurisdiction over occupational safety and health issues for government and private employees. That would be...
Yes.
Listen.
If he does that...
I'm going to let you say your thing first.
I'm not finishing that sentence because I don't know if it's true. I'm not going to say I would vote for the guy, but I might help on a campaign.
Look. I believe that the Republican and Democratic parties are basically two wings of the same plane crash by and large, and that the organizations as a whole exist to give this endless dangling, if you maybe one more election and this time we'll do what we say, and to play bad cop against the other side, so everyone's always voting for the lesser evil and the constant fear routine, and this election's far too important to throw my vote away and all that nonsense. And it's likely that he can't actually do that. But if he is actually, if this isn't all just signaling, oh, I'm going to sign this thing in Brandon and all that stuff. If he's actually going to try to buck up against the Leviathan federal state and actually push for decentralization, and you'll notice I'm not going to use the term states' rights because states don't have rights, and it's a stupid term. Forget the fact that it was originally used to, as a euphemism for, violations of civil rights of mostly black people and Jewish visitors. It was not. It was a. It's not a state's right, but it is decentralization, and it is a 10th Amendment proper within the Constitution. Proper apportionment of where power is supposed to go, left as decentralized as possible in theory. If he actually does that on this kind of stuff, and if over the next years, he got elected 2018, so he's running again next year.
22, yeah.
Yeah. So if he keeps doing this kind of stuff and does it hardcore, then the Libertarian Party will have to have a really compelling gubernatorial candidate to put up, both in terms of what they're proposing, their level of seriousness about it, and an actual path towards likelihood of them winning. If they don't want, again, if he keeps up with this stuff, if they don't want most liberty-leaning voters, including registered libertarians, to look and go, this is going to be a close one. We'll do that next time. This guy's actually doing something. Now, if this is virtue signaling, he introduces this thing, it doesn't really give any protections. He does this OSHA thing, and the OSHA says, no, you can't do it. And he goes, well, I tried. I mean, then that's different. Now we're talking signaling again. I can tell you this. as someone who is likely moving to Florida relatively soon. There's no like set date or anything, but I want to be there right now. It is. I don't do cold weather, but anyway, as someone who is likely gonna end up calling Florida my home sooner than later.
Where in
if
Florida?
He started, what's that?
Where in Florida?
You know what? I really anywhere south of. Honestly, anywhere in Florida. I'd even do Jacksonville at this point. I like the Tampa Bay area. I like Florida. Or I like Florida. I like Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I like that area. I'd want to be coastal, I can tell you that. But I mean, it ain't hard to be coastal in Florida. I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time in Keys. What's that?
Stay away from Orlando. You're like 2 hours from either beach.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I'd visit Orlando or whatever, but there's nothing compelling for me there. I want to be closer to the ocean than that. And the Keys, I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time in. I'd like to, because it seems like that would be my vibe. It is kind of more on the pricey side, but we'll see. All that to say, if Ron DeSantis, again, this is an if, and if anyone knows him, they should be telling him this, because I was the VP candidate, and a lot of libertarians listen to me, and I have a decent following relatively. I'm not a kingmaker or anything, but if he started acting towards criminal justice, drugs, and guns the way he is about this, for purely strategic reasons, I don't see I'm telling you that I don't see at the point of size that the Libertarian Party in Florida and nationally currently is, I would not see a viable reason to try to run. I don't know the ballot access stuff in Florida. If they have to run a paper candidate for ballot access reasons, I don't believe they do, but if they did, that would be one thing. I don't see a compelling reason to put too much resources in trying to run against him if he actually did that. And go ahead.
In 2018, there was somebody who looked like he was going to be the LP governor, but then I'm not going to say.
Oh, you kneecapped him.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't. This channel may have said some very true things.
I read the letter. And he's in prison now, so that's,
No, not that one. He was running for Senate. But we had a guy running for governor. Yeah, we had a guy running for governor who he was, I don't even remember this dude's name, but he wasn't very original.
Was he the nominee?
He was basically, he never ended up getting the nominee. Like, he would have been the nominee because nobody else was running, so nobody ran as an LP in 18, and it didn't hurt our ballot access.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't Wiley. Meg, that wasn't Wiley. Wiley was in 14, and I'm still good friends with Wiley. I was playing poker with him a couple of weeks ago.
Jake Porter? Oh, no, this is Iowa. Never mind. Sorry.
No, I don't remember this guy's name at all. Somebody asked me to be his lieutenant governor, and I sat down with one meeting with his campaign manager, who I knew and I hated, and we got into a huge fight, and I just called him out for a bunch of the shit he had said about my affiliate, and I didn't get that position, which I was totally happy with.
Anyway, I can't find him, but
yeah.
Libertarian incumbent Adrian Wiley, but that's not who you're talking about.
No, it wasn't Adrian. It was somebody else.
Anyway, whatever. Well, Lewis Jacobson. Oh no, that's not it. Never mind. Yeah. Anyway. So then, if that's not the case, and again, there are a lot of ifs here. If he's as serious about this as he's saying he is, and if he starts acting this way on other stuff, which frankly he should. There's no like these are all issues, that if he leans in on these things, these are all things that he's popular with Republicans on. And in terms of abortion, all he has to do is like to make both libertarians and Republicans happy is say, listen, I'm this is a settled law. Let them decide it at the federal level. But in the meantime, we're not going to give any taxpayer funding to it. That's the best you're going to get in this environment in terms of a government policy. And then again, I wish there's part of me that wishes I was a conservative because it's easier to be a conservative than a libertarian. But I'd make the conservative argument for focusing on the reasons why.
If we were conservative, this show would be the #1 conservative podcast.
Oh God, can you imagine? But we're not. But anyway, but honestly, if I were conservative with these ideas, I'd just be a libertarian calling myself a conservative. But anyway, he could even, give like free market solutions to that. But anyway, if he leaned in on the liberty side, I don't see a compelling reason to run a candidate against him. Like if there's a need for a paper candidate for ballot X or whatever. But if there's not, just not even. Yeah, just not even. Why? And in fact, pushing, going in and pushing and saying, okay, you're our incumbent. If you want our support, we want this, 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 and this, and this. And you might actually get a couple concessions. Just did not have that on his liberty flank to have to deal with, especially if it's stuff that's not really going to hurt him with Republicans. Republicans are increasingly in favor of criminal justice reform, especially if you can sell it as, it makes things safer and it protects police from unnecessary interactions, and it saves taxpayer money. But again, these are like 15 different ifs at this point.
Right. And I want to point out to all of our viewers and listeners, we're not on the DeSantis dick sucking train here yet.
No, God, no. No. I'd love to see this kind of consistency on other stuff.
Absolutely. When he didn't commute Michael Edwards' sentence, I swore I would never vote for it.
Yeah.
Because for anybody who doesn't know, Michael Edwards has been in prison since 1993, too.
Yep.
For selling his ex-girlfriend 2 grams of cocaine, I think. And it was his third strike, and he's been life in prison. Yeah. He's been life in prison ever since. The parole board, the clemency board granted him clemency, and DeSantis said no. He vetoed it. And that upset me.
That would have to be an example of something he'd have to reverse course on. Not specifically just because of Michael, but in general. He'd have to general. If you want to talk about people's rights and people's ability to not have their lives ruined by government, you can't just do that with vaccines and masks. Do it with everything using the exact same argument, and you will be consistent, you will be helping people, and you will get way more support. For any potential Republican that you might lose for saying you're not being tough enough on those 2 gram of cocaine 30 years ago criminals, which I don't think there are that many of them. You'd get a bunch more centrists, you'd get a bunch more independents, you'd get a bunch more libertarians, and people who go, oh, wow, you're being consistent about that thing. And it would be harder to attack you as a hypocrite, which is what Democrats and Republicans love doing to each other, is endlessly saying, you said this, but then you did this, or you did this because you wanted this, but then you did this, and that's the opposite. And then you're supposed to go, yeah, well, you did this because you said this, but then you did this, and that's the opposite. You're a hypocrite. No, you're a hypocrite. No, you're a hypocrite. If instead you could be like, no, I'm not a hypocrite because I was consistent on that. Look what I did here. Look what I did here. Look what I did here. It would help you as well. It'd help your campaign. But, don't take it from me. I'm just a guy who got the vice presidential nomination from the 3rd largest political party where no one knew me 3-4 months prior. So what do I know? Nothing. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I don't either. So, before we end this show and we talk about
you're a bigot, Rob.
Your guests.
You're a bigot. Yes, we have guests. So tomorrow.
Oh. Well, hang on. I said before we get there.
Oh, okay.
Before we get there, it being
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It
It being Thanksgiving, Spike, what is it that you are thankful for in the year 2021?
Do I have to name one thing or everything I'm thankful for, or
No,
many things?
what as many as you can think of off the top of your head.
Oh man,
Like,
I am.
trying to
Well,
kill
first of
the hour.
all, I am thankful for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. No, I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my incredible wife, Tasha. My, uh, I guess my extended family with Muddy Waters. You, of course, you're like a brother to me. I am grateful for everyone in the Muddied team. I'm grateful for everyone with the Spike Cohen team, with the Team Spike and the You Are the Power team. Um, all of y'all, I guess you're part of the Muddied family too. Even the ones who aren't in the Muddied Mudsketeer Mudlitia of the Muddied Mud People subscriber club, which you should be. But even if you're not, I still love you. Just not quite as much. I love the support and the camaraderie and fellowship we built with Muddied Waters. I love all of my followers and friends that I've made along the way in the liberty movement over the last 2 years. I'm grateful for most of the Libertarian Party. I'm grateful for, what else? I'm grateful for all of the opportunities that we've had, and the growing opportunities that we've had. I'm grateful for the stuff that's coming next year that I can't even talk about yet because it's just in the works and it's not official yet, but it's going to be really great. And I'm really looking forward to all of that. Man, I'm grateful for, I know I'm forgetting things. I'm grateful for my relatively good health. I remember 5 years ago being told about, being in a wheelchair and not being able to see and what that's going to be like, and getting relapses every couple months, and I've been stable for years now. I'm able to live a really fulfilling life. I'm actually, like, in terms of like everything but my central nervous system, I'm in the best health I've ever been in my life. And I'm in some of the best health I've been in even with my central nervous system in the past several years. I'm grateful that we don't want for anything. I'm grateful for, I know there's other stuff I'm missing right now. I'm grateful for just the love and the dedication of all the people that have the same goals and values that we have and everything we've been able to do. Again, I know I'm missing stuff, but those are just off the top of my head.
There's no way that you would have been able to name everything off the top of your head.
Yeah, no, it's like a cornucopia. This is the time of year of the cornucopias and the horns of plenty and so forth. I am overflowing with gratefulness for things. I really am. What are you grateful for?
No, obviously grateful. You are like a brother to me. I love you like a brother. I assume I never had one.
Love you too.
But I love you like a brother. You're my best friend. You're my brother, and we get to do this together often. Sometimes on time, but
not always.
Not always, not often, but occasionally. And I'm grateful for all of Muddied Waters and everybody that is a subscriber and everybody that's not a subscriber. And Jason and Kelsey and Cajun and Eskimo and anybody that's involved with any Brian, massive. Love me some Brian.
Brian is, I could probably say 3 different reasons I'm grateful just for Brian. Yeah.
Just for Brian. Yeah. Just for Brian alone. I'm grateful for, my family and my friends, my mom, my dad, because without them, none of this would have been possible. My friends who have supported me over the last 5 years next month that we have been doing this. And I'm grateful, definitely grateful for Superfan Sarah Anderegg and the 2 Litlands that live rent free in this house, and the 2 dogs that also live rent free in this house. There is so much. Everybody complained about 2020, and they said that, 2020 was such a terrible year. 2020 was not an easy year for me, but it was one of the best years that I had. And 2021 has been shaping up to be an even better year. And there is a lot of stuff that is happening, both with Muddied Waters and with other aspects of our lives that, and with Spike's. I don't know what your business is called. Is it Spike Cohen? Is it You Are the Power? Like,
oh, the organization's called You Are the Power. Spike Cohen's just my name. Yeah.
Right. So with You Are the Power, with Muddied Waters, with other things going on in our lives, there's like so much that is happening behind the scenes that we're all building toward. And we can't wait to release all of it on you, like a money shot in a porn. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But there's so much that's going on, and we can't wait to share everything with all of you, because you are the reason that all of this is happening and that all of this is possible. And the amount of love and support that I get from Sarah for all of the sometimes thankless work that I do, trying to make sure that all of this goes off without a hitch, except for on time. And the fact that she will constantly give me support and tell me how proud she is and how grateful that she is that I have this, and that I, reminding me that I'm reaching people. I can never be thankful enough for her being in my life. And it's like you said, we've all become one massive family.
It is. Yeah. It's exactly like a family.
So there's so much, but to all of our viewers and listeners, like, thank you guys.
Yes.
Honestly, thank you.
Yep. No, it's we are all grateful for you. We love you with everything. We are so happy to have you as a part of this. Again, we are only getting started. Incredible things are coming. Stuff on You Are the Power, stuff on Muddy Waters that we can't even talk about there early on. But I mean, we have just, if you think 2021 was great, 2022 is going to be on a completely different level. And I couldn't be happier to have you. And I know I speak for Matt too when I say this. We couldn't be happier to have you as a part of it. And thank you very much. Tomorrow night, let me tell you something else I'm grateful for, Matt. Tomorrow night, I have High Res the Rapper on my show. High Res and Jake Levy. I'm not sure if it's Levy or Levy. And he has done...
Is it Jake?
Jimmy. Sorry. It's I knew as I was saying that. High Res and Jimmy Levy, who have done some songs together. High Res, anyone who is following YouTube and SoundCloud rappers knows who High Res is. And he has something like 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Really hoping to get that YouTube love from this. But he has been following me for a while now and is becoming more and more libertarian. He's very big into crypto, and if you go check out High Res on YouTube, it's HIREZ, and all of his songs are just libertarian songs now. Like, all of his rap is libertarian now. And it's really, really cool. So we're going to talk about what got him here and what his newest songs, Revolution, and some of his other newer songs that have been coming out, what's been the driving behind that, and where they're going from here. And I could not be happier about that. I can't. I'm also grateful. Like, I've had R.A. the Rugged Man. Now I'm going to have High Res. Got some other rappers we might be getting on. As you know, the white kid that I was still in that generation where white kids who listen to rap got given a hard time in school. It's all coming back full circle. I'm now, some of my favorite rap entertainers are coming on my show to rap with me. We're rapping. We're having a rap session. Matt, who's your guest on? Oh no, it's Thanksgiving. So
It's
you're
Thanksgiving.
grateful that you don't have to have a show because it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, very, not grateful I'm not having a show, but grateful that I get to spend.
That's what I meant.
Grateful that I get to spend Grateful that I get to spend some quality family time with people who with Sarah and her family up in Georgia. It's gonna be a good time.
Georgia.
It's gonna be Georgia. It's gonna be 30 degrees.
In Georgia.
Georgia. Going to Georgia.
I feel like you aren't getting one of
So-
them because they're Jewish.
Right. No, I understood.
Okay. Okay. No. Okay. All right.
Georgia.
I was starting to lose it too.
I'm quick to pick up on
No, I know
Jew.
on the Jew stuff. No, I know you are.
Right.
And then, do we know our Friday? Are we
Friday-
do our Cajun and Eskimo happening Friday or?
I think.
Okay.
I think so. So
You're
on
not gonna
Friday
believe.
at 9:30 Eastern, we're just gonna say they're gonna do it. And if they don't,
Yeah,
well,
they're
that's
doing it.
Cajun and Eskimo will be having a new show of Cajun and Eskimo from bayous to igloos, where they will cover something that will get us demonetized.
Probably. Then have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your loved ones. Enjoy your community. And thank you for being a part of ours. Then on Monday, Jason Lyon is doing another amazing episode of Mr. America: The Bearded Truth. His guest, it says Dwayne Lester, but
That's not right.
This one.
Yeah, that's not right. I did
You're not going to believe who
update
Jason's next guest is, but it's going to be incredible.
Brian Scott Lambrecht.
Is it?
It is. Brian Lambrecht is going to be talking about campaigning.
Yes. Listen, if you are considering running for office or helping someone else run for office, tune in this Monday at 8 p.m. Brian Lambrecht is largely the brains behind Team Spike. He was during the campaign. He and Matt Hicks were kind of combined, but media relations, strategy and tactics, putting together a team. He is all that stuff. He is incredible. The number of things he's forgotten more this week than most other campaign managers have known their entire career. And definitely want to tune in for that. Then next Tuesday, right here, same muddy place, probably about 15 minutes earlier time to like closer to actually 8. The next episode of the Muddy Waters of Freedom, where me and this guy right here parse through the week's events like the chipper little people who apparently are going to die in the next 55 years.
When are we doing the auction?
We're doing an auction on Tuesday.
Are we doing it?
Sure.
It's for the Waffle House tumbler.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then they can get it and have it for the holidays. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Right. So we don't have the graphic pulled up because I wasn't sure if we were going to be doing it this next week or not. But we have a tumbler from Stitches and Glitches and Defy the Power.
Well, I can show them that.
It is a Waffle House caucus tumbler.
Not this one. It's way more intense.
It's way more intense. It is specifically made for fans of this show. You will have the Waffle House caucus. It lights up. And not only does it light up, but there is so much more that you're not going to believe. It also, the LED lights are rated for 50,000 hours. So that is 2,033 and a third days of light use. That's a lot of days. It's operated by a watch battery, and you're going to get a backup battery. It keeps drinks cold for 12 hours and hot for 10. Lights are under epoxy, and it is safe to drink from while it is lit. Comes with a portable, reusable stainless steel straw. Both Spike and myself have autographed it. It's under epoxy, and you can wash it 10,000 times or more before, and the signatures will still be there. And this is the only one. There is one. There is
I have a
one
picture of what
things.
This is one of a kind. They're never making it ever again. Actually, they probably will if you want to, but they don't. But you won't even know what it. You can't even describe this thing. There's so much going on there.
There's so much.
Here's a picture of what we will look like by the time you're able to successfully wash all of that off.
Right.
Because we'll kill ourselves. So, folks, thanks so much for tuning in for this episode. Oh, by the way, happy on Sunday. Happy beginning of Hanukkah. Beginning of Hanukkah
Yes.
on Sunday. Very early this year. Happy beginning of Hanukkah. We love you very much. Have a great Thanksgiving. But don't have a great Thanksgiving until after you've tuned in to My Fellow Americans tomorrow night. Then start having a happy Thanksgiving. Okay? All right? Matt, if someone were to try to find us on the internet, is that even possible? And if so, how?
It is possible.
Wow.
I got to think of how to reword this because our website issues. But first, what people need to do is head on over to anchor.fm.
Anchor.fm. Yes. Having some problems with
You can listen to all of the audio from all of our shows.
Yes. Quite the fuck.
You can listen to all of the audio from all of our shows at anchor.fm/muddiedwaters. And you can also subscribe or leave us messages. And if you subscribe, you get to join in on the Muddied Zoom once a month. So please subscribe.
Oh, yeah, I gotta do the thing here. You gotta see the.
To join in.
You can become a member.
To join in.
Join the
And
the
you get to ask us questions that we will play live on the air. Or you can find this in every other episode at muddiedwatersoffreedom.com.
Well, no, moneywatersmedia.com still works.
Oh, that works?
It's the / other stuff that's not working right now for some reason. But no, moneywatersmedia.com does work. So you can go to moneywatersmedia.com.
So go to muddywatersmedia.com.
Moneywatersmedia.com. This was ASMR for toddlers. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Happy Thanksgiving. But not yet, though. Watch my show tomorrow night with High Res the Rapper and Jimmy Levy. And then have a happy Thanksgiving. We love you. Have a great rest of your evening. And where we're going...
We don't need roads.